Uh, so we are about to start on the third in our series on Sicily. So so greetings everybody, and hope so far the week's going well and that you're not too caught up in all the heat that's going on out there. Today's webinar is the third in our Sicily series, as I was saying, and we're going to take you on an exploration of the western portion of Sicily. We made the decision to break Sicily into three parts because as we started talking about it, we realized that if we were going to do the entire island in one webinar, it just wasn't going to do it justice. And it's often when we get requests for Sicily, often we find that there's not enough time that's being spent on the island. If someone calls us and they say they want to do 5 to 7 days in Sicily, that's tough to see the entire region. You really need at least a 10-day period, or those clients that go and break it into at least two parts. So you see the western section and the eastern section. On our last webinar, we focused on the eastern end of the island. So we were in the Baroque cities. We were in Taormina, we were Mount Etna. Before that, we covered Palermo. And in case you missed any of them, you'll find them on our website under the tab More. So all of the webinars that we've done last year and this year are all listed there. And you're welcome to just go through them and take a look. Today's weather in this part of Italy is about a cool 94 degrees, evening lows in the mid 70s, and really very dry. And that's the way it's going to be for the next 2 weeks, though the temperature is going to drop a little bit into the upper 80s. Perfect weather to go out and have great dinners at night, eating outside. It's just the right thing to do. So this time we're going to take you to the opposite end of the island, where you're going to find Palermo, Erice, the salt flats of Trapani. I'm not going to go into it too much because I think that we're going to get a really good flavor for this part of the island. You may, if you were in the other webinars, you might recognize some of the folks that are going to join us today. So Julia's our man on the ground. He makes sure that everything runs smoothly when your clients are traveling around the island. Moshe is one of our premier tour guides. He's got a deep love and knowledge of the island. You'll tell from his accent that he's not Italian, nor am I. And originally he's from Israel, but he's been living in Sicily for 26 years. So very well versed. We're going to also take you to a wonderful property where you're going to meet the owner and the GM of a beautiful property called Baglio Oneto. And Johnny, let me pass it over to you because we've got a lot to cover.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. So welcome to everybody. And as Tom was saying, we have a very good friend in Sicily waiting for us, Giulio, Moshe, Anna. They are there to show you this part of Sicily that is very, very nice. And many of the locations that we show you are not very well known, and they are fantastic. And Moshe will guide through those locations. Fantastic, really fantastic. We try to give you the most of the possible detail with some videos that have been done on the area. And then we pass the microphone to Anna because our itinerary is focused on staying at this hotel. So let me start to share my screen, and obviously here you can see the screen, and we are on the third part. As Tom was said, the last part is the western part of Sicily. And this is the area that we are covering. And you can see from the few pictures that there are many locations that are really fantastic location, unbelievable location from history, food, sea, and a lot of things that you cannot imagine that can be in this part. Our itinerary will be focused on staying at Baglio Oneto, and Anna will show us the hotel later on. And practically each day we will have an excursion to the different portion of the different part of Sicily, from Palermo to Agrigento, Mazzara del Vallo, Mozia, and you cannot believe what is Mozia, Trapani, etc., etc. So this is the thing. This is the itinerary. This is you can obviously go back to our gtexperience.net page, and there will be it will be available. And if you need anything else, so let's take a quick look to this part of the region with some very nice picture, and then I'll pass the microphone to Mo. Okay, so after this quick overview of the main spot of the western portion of Sicily, let's give the microphone to Moshe. Moshe.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Some of you know me already from a previous tour or virtual tour that we had together. For some of you, I'm new. As Tom said, I'm Israeli in origin. I was born in Tel Aviv, but actually moved to Sicily 26 years ago. So I'm Sicilian in adoption, and I'm working as a tour guide since the last 26 years in the island of Sicily. Actually, I hope that the slideshow that Gianni just played opened or enlarged your appetite versus Sicily and versus the west coast of the island of Sicily. It's almost a mission impossible to speak about the west coast in the short time that I have in my disposal, but I will try to put some salient date in the local history of the west coast that influenced almost completely Sicily, the entire island, I will say. Now, I choose to speak about two important moments in the history of Sicily. which is actually connected with the tour that was set for your travelers and the West Coast. One portion is going to be about the ancient history. Actually, we are speaking about a period that goes from the indigenous population of Sicily, 1500 before Christ, through the Phoenician arrival to the island, and actually their settlement in the west coast of the island of Sicily, and of course, the arrival of the Greek. So actually, when we're speaking about the west coast of Sicily, we had two different cultures that clashed and met in the ancient history. 8th century BC actually is signing the arrival to the west coast of Sicily of the Phoenician culture. The Phoenician arrived to Sicily directly from what is our day Lebanon and the Palestinian coast, actually Lebanon, Israel, and portion of Syria. Actually, they will arrive already at the 10th century before Christ, but at the 8th century before Christ, they are going to transform what was in the beginning only commercial basis into a stable settlement. And actually, their stable settlement in Sicily were well connected with another important Phoenician city, which is Carthage, our day Tunisia, that were going to be also their main protector. They are going to found in the island of Sicily a very important settlement, like what is today the archaeological site of the island of Mozia, and also the city of Palermo. The city of Palermo is actually Phoenician in origin. Okay, Gianni, can you go back? Gianni, okay. Then there was a problem. Why? Because in the 6th century before Christ, Greeks started to expand from the east coast of Sicily to the west coast of Sicily. This is the moment where the Greek clash directly with the Phoenician that were actually establishing themselves already in the west coast. Okay, a series of war will start between the Greek elements of the island, chiefed by Syracuse, the mother colony, against the Phoenician settlements that were actually supported by Carthage. Actually, if you will take a look on the slide, you are going to see that on the lower part, I put a long list of war that changed completely the aspect of the West Coast. Okay, the Battle of Himera, 480 BC, that where the Greeks for the first time were able to defeat the Carthaginian. There is another very important date at 406 before Christ, where the Carthaginian turned back to Sicily and destroyed completely the city of Agrigento, Gela, that were a Greek settlement. And at 397 before Christ, Dionysius the Elder, that actually chiefed the Greek element in Sicily, were able to destroy completely the city of Mozia. That was the end of the Phoenician culture that we had in Sicily. Okay, so actually all those salient dates are going to help you to understand what we are going to see in the next slide. Gianni, can you go ahead? Actually, what you are going to see in this slide are a series of photos that are going to show two areas that are connected one with each other. On the left top corner and on the right lower corner, you are going to see the salt flats that we have in Sicily. Actually, we have a long road that goes from Trapani to Marsala, which is going to be called the Salt Road, where we are producing salt in Sicily in the same exact way that the Phoenician introduced the Sicilian. It's one of the most beautiful panorama that you are going to see at the island of Sicily. Instead, on the other two photos, you are going to see the archaeological museum that we have in the island of Mozia. Mozia is the only Phoenician archaeological site still existing in the island of Sicily, one of the most superb places. And of course, in the Phoenician museum that we have in the island of Mozia, we have a large collection of items that are related to the Phoenician culture at the island of Sicily. We are going to see it or speak more about it. Speaking instead about the Greek culture in Sicily, we put on your itinerary few Greek sites. We put in your itinerary the Temple of Segesta. We put another important archaeological site, which is called Sedilente. And of course, we cannot skip one of the most important sites that we have in Sicily that is going to catapult us back to the Greek period. We are speaking about the temples of Agrigento. It's actually well known as the Valley of the Temple of Agrigento, which is actually a portion of an acropolis, a sacred area, where you can visit 7 temples out of the 10 pre-existing temples that were only on one side. Okay, we have there the best preserved Doric temple in the world. It's actually in Agrigento, and actually it's a stop that everybody have to make while they are visiting the island of Sicily. All the Greek temples that you are going to see in the picture in front of you are dating back to the 5th century before Christ. Next. What you see actually in this photo is a beautiful medieval city. It's called the city of Erice, located on the top of a promontory. Okay, it's called Mount St. Julian, and located at about 500 meters above sea level with a beautiful panorama. It's really one of the most picturesque cities that we have in Sicily. While you are going to walk in the narrow medieval alleys, you are going to see construction which are dating back mostly to a period that goes between the 15 and the 1700, but the city have a very old origin, as actually the city was a Phoenician city on the top of the mountain, protecting all this corner of the island of Sicily. So it's a good combination between medieval history and an ancient history. You cannot stop in the city of Erice without, of course, tasting also the best marzipan cookies that we have in Sicily. So here that the gastronomy is also entering to the picture. Another important period in the history of the West Coast is the Norman Arab period. We are speaking about a date that goes between the 11th till the 1300, more or less. Norman arrived to Sicily. That period, actually, they will arrive to Sicily exactly at 1061 with the conquest of Messina. And then, of course, at 1072, they are going to conquer the city of Palermo, that was the capital city of this island, who were before the arrival of the Norman, of course, the Arab. And the Norman are going to absorb the Islamic culture, and they are going to build a unique monument that they can be found only and exclusively at the island of Sicily, which are called the Norman Arab monuments, or the Norman Arab itinerary, that was recognized as a UNESCO heritage. Actually, what are the characters of the Norman Arab architecture? We can speak about it for long, but just to make it short, we are speaking about monuments that are very Romanesque, imponent in style. In the exterior, they are going to be mostly made by Arab architects, and in the interiors, they are going to be all covered with Byzantine style mosaics from the floor all the way up to the top of the ceiling. Can you go ahead, Gianni? Okay. You can see some corners in those photos of the city of Palermo. Those corners are a mixture of periods. It goes from Massimo Theater, which is neoclassical, back to the past on the right-hand side with a photo of the Quattro Canti, dating back to the Baroque period, all the way up to Piazza Pretoria on the left upper corner, which is going to be dating back to the Renaissance period. Okay. Let's go ahead, Gianni. Palermo is a multicultural city, and this is something that can be reflected till today, especially if you are going to visit a small hill town, which is 5 kilometers out of the city of Palermo, called the city of Monreale. In the city of Monreale, we have one of the most beautiful cathedrals that you can find all over Europe, covered with more than 6,000 square meters of a mosaic done in a Byzantine style, but in the Norman period. It's been applicated at the 1200. It's really one of the wonders that we have at the island of Sicily. Of course, we cannot speak about Arab influence at the island of Sicily without going and visit in city of Palermo, one of the local or open space market. In this case, actually, we put some photos of the market of Ballarò, when someone can walk, but not only in order to see the smells, the flavor, and the products of Sicily, but also to have the possibility to taste a local street food, which is mostly based on Arab influence. We're speaking about the Arab influence, but actually Islamic influence can be recognized in Sicily not only in the past. In your itinerary, we put also a very interesting city, which is called the city of Mazara del Vallo, where till today we have one of the largest Islamic community at the island of Sicily. Most of them are Tunisian in origin, and they are living in a complete coexistence in this small city by the Tyrrhenian coastline. In the middle of the city, you can find the local Kasbah, so-called the local Kasbah, a series of Alice labyrinth that are dating back to the Islamic culture. Let's move a little bit on the west coast of Sicily. And of course, if somebody loves the idea of being surrounded with a superb nature, we offer the possibility to visit the group of a tree island called the Egati Island, which are also making part of the region of Sicily. Okay, so Gianni, ahead. So when we're speaking about the Egadi Island, we're speaking about the three major islands, Favignana, Levanto, and Marittimo. And there is also some small tiny islands that are called Formica and Maraone. It's really an extraordinary synthesis of history and nature, thanks to the fact that in the islands of Egadi, they found a lot of archaeological finding dating back to the Paleolithic period, which testify the permanence of people coming from every corner of the Mediterranean, contributing to the history of the Western world. Actually, don't forget that it's also the largest protected marine area that we have in Europe, a point of migration of many birds. But of course, if you just take a look in the picture, you're going to see all those small, tiny bays with a crystal clear water when somebody can enjoy relaxed time in nature. Okay. When we speak about the western coast of Sicily, we cannot skip the wine. This area of Sicily is devoted to the wine production, and especially a city called Marsala. Marsala, just for your general knowledge, is Arabic in terminology. The name Marsala is coming from the Arabic word Mars Allah, the port of God, because that was the first area where the Arab or the Islamic dominion stopped in Sicily, and from there they started the conquest of the entire island. The city is surrounded, of course, with wineries that producing a wonderful Marsala wine, and you can spend few hours just moving from one winery and another in order to have the explanation and to taste the local production. Okay, let's go to a short.
Okay, we're gonna see the three locations that you just spoke about regarding the salt mine, the island of Mozia, and Segesta. There you go.
Okay. We're going to start with the salt flat. You're going to see how it's done. Actually, we are producing salt in Sicily as the Phoenicians were introduced the Sicilian to this activity. You're going to see along the coast of Marsala, Trapani, a series of salt basin or salt flat, kind of a basin of water changing in their depth, and all the rest due the sun. This is the driest area that we have in Sicily. Just evaporating the water, it actually crystallizes the salt on the top of those basin of water. Then we are doing something which is called break the salt. Today we grind it with specific machinery, and of course we creating those kind of mountain around the salt pan in order to give the salt the possibility to dry. Okay? So actually all the view, all the panorama in this corner of Sicily are going to be a series of basin of water and of course those mountain of salt. Just in front of the salt road, we have an area which is called the lagoon, the stagnone in Italian. And in the middle of the lagoon, we have the circular, flat, beautiful island of Mozia. It's also called the island of San Pantaleo, thanks to the fact that in the medieval period, the Basilian monks stopped there. In the past, in the Phoenician period, there was also a road which is today submerged, as you can see, under the water of the lagoon, but the water are very shallow, and actually you can still use this road which is connecting the island of Mozia with the rest of the coastline. You can see here a portion of the fortification walls of the city of Mozia that were actually built already in the 6th century before Christ. The only way, of course, to reach the island of Mozia is taking a small boat and crossing actually the lagoon from one part to another. Along actually the island of Mozia, you can have a walking route, which is going to take you all around the island, through all the remains of the Phoenician city. You are not going only to enjoy the beautiful nature, but you are going to see some important archaeological remains, like the temples of Mozia. Okay? The temple of Mozia was dedicated to Baal, that was the father of all gods in the Phoenician mythology. You can see here some remains of the temple itself, and you have to know that the Phoenician of Mozia were extremely criticized by the Greek that will come later on, thanks to the fact that they were practicing a human sacrifices in the temple of Baal in the past. You are going to see here also some remains of the old houses that were located in the city. And you have to know that who really excavated and digged or brought to the light the city of Mozia was the figure of Joseph Whitaker, a wine merchant from England who stopped in Sicily. He brought to the light more than 3,000 tombstones dating back to the Phoenician period. Today, they are all conserved in this small Phoenician museum that we have at the island of Mozia. Take a look how beautiful are those tombstones, which are actually have all the details that can explain you more about this amazing culture. What you see right now is one of the main items that we have in the museum itself. It's called the Youth of Mozia, or the Charioteers of Mozia, or right now you see the sardonic mask, and of course, again, the different tombstone that we have at the island. Of course, we have also some items from the Greek period, since the Phoenicians have a fertile commerce also with the Greeks of Sicily. Please do not forget that they were the great shipbuilder and merchant of all the Mediterranean. Instead, what you see in front of you right now is a short video of the city of Segesta. Actually, it's not a city, it's an archaeological site. You are going to see that Segesta is one of the major cities of the Elymian culture, one of the indigenous population of Sicily. And usually you have a well-preserved temple, the one that you see just in front of you, built in 420 BC, despite it wasn't a Greek city. The temple was never finished. Next to the temple, on the opposite hill, the remains of the Roman theater, first built in the Greek period, we're speaking about the 4th, 3rd century before Christ, and then in the Roman period, 2nd century before Christ, was transformed. It could host, in its glorious moment, more than 4,000 spectators. So, as you can see, we have many theaters, not only on the east coast of Sicily, but also on the west coast of Sicily. And of course, it has the beautiful view of what is today a portual city, which is called the city of Castellammare del Golfo.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
And
Mark.
of course, food and gastronomy is one of the main things in Sicily. When you travel in Sicily, the travel is passed also through your palate, okay? And in this case, there is a photo of one of the main products that we have in that area, which are the shrimps, which are typical to Mazzara del Vallo. Okay.
Thank you, Moshe. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. Thank you for
very
being
much for your
patient.
explanation. It was really very, very precise and very interesting. And now we will go to the hotel that we are using in our program. And Tom, you want to go ahead, will you?
Well, we set this program up as a hub and spoke program. So, you know, your guests, no one has to move around. They can go to one place, unpack, and from there, lots of great day trips, not far away, all within roughly an hour and a half from the property. I want to introduce you to Anna. Anna is down in the wine cellar, I believe.
Yeah, hello.
I hope that you're trying some of the wine, Anna.
I
hope you're enjoying some of the wine downstairs.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you.
Okay.
At the end of everything, I'm waiting for you.
Okay, so we will show you the property, and don't forget that the price of today will be staying at this property in Sicily. So stay with us till the end, because the lucky winner will stay here for 2 nights, guest of the property. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, is all yours. Anna?
Hello to everyone. Welcome to Baglio Oneto. Here we are in the winery, so in the heart of the Baglio. I will show you a little bit this little winery, this little Hansen cellar, and so you can come with me. The Baglio born in the 18th century, so it's an ancient noble residence, and it's born to make wine and to make olive oil. So here we used to make the wine testing. Here we used to make the wine testing, and here there are some of our 9 typology of wine that we produce. So we produce white wine, Zibibbo, Inzolia, Grillo, and then red wine, so Nero d'Avola and Merlot, and the Odinetto, that is a Passito Zibibbo, and the Marsala wine. Here there are some examples, and the Marsala wine, you know, I think the history of the Marsala, but for those that don't know the history, in a few words, the Marsala born from the Perpetuum wine. So it was a local wine made with 3 kind of vineyards, so Zibibbo, Catarratto e Inzolia, Grillo, Catarratto e Inzolia, and they used the father used to make this wine in the barrel, and then the barrel go from father to son, from generation in generation. So it is with the Solera method that we do the Marsala. So it is something similar to the sherry. So we have a similar history with the Jerez of Jerez de la Frontera, even for the Phoenician culture and for the Arabic one. So we are really cousin. I will go to show you some of the space of the Baglio. So we can go in the inner court. In the winery there are some of the barrels. There are some. This is a little press that they used to make wine to make the juice from the grapes. So it is like a little museum. During the wine testing, we try to explain everything about the Oneto family, because Oneto was my family, the family of my mom. So Oneto was my grandmother, and they come from a noble family from Liguria. Odinetto, the wine of Odinetto, is like a gift to remember the first of the Oneto family. With the wines, we was then when we come back in the wine cellar, I will show you the ancient label. Now here there is the tower. The ancient tower that was a tower for the defense of the Baglio. From here we can have some wonderful sunsets and a magical view on the sea, on Mozia, Egadi Island, Erice. Today we can't see nothing because it's really hot, so it's a little bit foggy. But usually there is a wonderful landscape. Over there, I will show you the swimming pool. Yes, some rosemary, basil, mint, a lot of typical plants. And here is the swimming pool. That even the swimming pool has a shape like a barrel, really. And from you can go down. And from here, you can enjoy the landscape. So from the swimming pool, you can enjoy the landscape really. And over there, we have the rooms. So we have the deluxe room with the sea view, and then some junior suite. And in the other part, we have the superior room. But then there is a video that can show you everything better. Here, here there is the bar. Yeah, okay. Here there is the bar, and we have this part that we use for lunch during I don't know, from the spring to autumn. Usually we use always the open space when we can, because everyone prefer to stay in the open air.
Anna,
Over there, yeah.
There was a question about can guests stay in the tower?
Yeah, sure. The tower now is a room, so it's a suite for 2 people maximum. Is in 2 level with the stair, and up on the top of the roof there are some chaise longue, so it's really romantic.
Great.
Yeah. Over there is the heart of the Baglio. We use this court, this historical court, for the breakfast and for the dinner. So we can decide to use a different place of this court, and during the dinner, it's really the atmosphere is really intimate and romantic, and with the light, it seems like I don't know, what do you say, festa di paese? Like a little city, like a party in a little city, you know?
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. Over there is the wheel, and this is from the Baglio, and the wheel are from the Arabic architecture. So you was talking about Arabic culture, and here there is something about this. Now I will show you some of the inner saloon that we have. This is the manor house. So even the pavement are some Maiolic ceramic one. In this case, these Maiolic are from the 18th century, so it's really ancient one. In this room, there is the history of the Oneto family. So here is the photo of my grandmother, Anna Oneto. Here there is a prize that she had for the production of the vineyard. She was a strong woman. Here, my mom with the two brothers, and going here, the history is always more important, because here is Prince Carmelo Oneto with Anna Oneto, and the son of the two, it was Tommaso Oneto, that was the manor of Marsala. Manor si dice, sindaco mi pare.
Mayor, the mayor.
Marsala, yeah, in 1920. In these years, and this is pergamena, non so in inglese come si dice, a papiro, something like this, that is like they talk about the good that they have done for the city of Marsala. And here is the an iconic photography where there is Tommaso Oneto with the king of Italy, Vittorio Emanuele III, and Joseph Whitaker, and the husband. They was in Marsala, because you know that Mozia is property of Whitaker Foundation still now. It's not still nowadays. So in this saloon, in these spaces, we can organize some dinner if we want something more special, more particular for some of the days. We can organize something in one of these hall. This is a pignatello, so it's another of this space. I can show you the Calandra, that is another location, and I want to tell you, here is not just a place where you can go to where to sleep. Is something to that you have to live in all the different space, the different experience. And what is nice is what we can do is that for every night, every dinner, every lunch, we can propose some experience, some particular experience. So we can prepare food with wines. We can prepare food with the herbs of the Baglio, so menta, loro, rosemary, and lots of other herbs that we have here.
You're making me very hungry, Anna.
Oh yeah. Here is the location of the Calandra. So this is another part of the Baglio, another part that we can use like restaurant, and that we can use for the buffet in the morning. So there are a lot of space that we can combine to have in 7 days 7 different experience, because I like that to think that my guests can have experience. They don't have just to come here, sit and have food. They have to come here and have an experience every day that they are here. So for example, in the bar, I give you just some ideas. So then it can be nice for you to think about all these things. For example, in the bar, we used to make the signature cocktail with the Oneto wines. So we can make the Moinetto, Marsala Sour. So all the cocktails are made with our wines. Or we can make a menu with a combined wine for each dish. So there are a lot of things that we can do with wine. We propose even the massage with the grapes, or with the essence of the olive oil and grape seeds.
Anna, while you are going back to the cantina now?
Yeah, I can go back to the cantina. Yeah, I want to show you just the well from here. That is really nice. It's something ancient that I really like. And this part, it was used one time in these stones just to wash the dress, you know. So it was called fricature, and it was the pila. Just to give you something from the Sicilian old experience. And yeah, I go back to the wine cellar.
While you are going back, I will show the rooms, okay?
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
Okay.
Facciamo con la batteria. Che siamo? 13.
Hello, welcome to Baglio Oneto. Now I will show you some of our room types. This is a superior room with balcony and countryside view. So this is a room of 24 square meters with a king size bed, and or you can use two twin beds. Here is the landscape with the mountain of Erice, and then the ancient Baglios and the vineyard, and fichi d'India, bougainville, fico, soleandre, lantana, lots of typical plants. Inside you can have we have the mini bar and smart TV, so you can use it for work, just to see the photo of your holidays, and you can connect it with the Wi-Fi. Here there is the bathroom with the shower inside the bath. And now we can go to another room. This is a deluxe room with a balcony and a sea view. So it's a 24 square meters, and with a king size bed or twin beds. And the view is on the landscape with the sea, Egadi Island, Mozia. And in this room, like in the superior room, there is the mini bar, the smart TV, and the bathroom is the same of the superior room bathroom. So what is that change is the landscape. So it's not the countryside landscape, but a seaside landscape. In the resort there are some superior room with the terrace and some deluxe room with partial sea view with terrace. We have just 4 and 4 of this kind of rooms. Some of these rooms are connecting room, so if you need some connecting room, you can find some of this kind of typology. We have 3 types of junior suite. Junior suite with vineyard view, a junior suite with a partial sea view and a big terrace of 18 square meters, and a junior suite with a balcony and sea view. And this is the rooms that we are visiting now. So this is a junior suite with sea view and balcony of 30 square meters minimum. There are different kind of rooms like this, so they are not all the same, but the minimum of square meters is 30 square meters. This is the landscape on the sea. Today is really foggy, so it's not easy to see and to show you the island, but over there is Favignana, Levanzo, Marettimo and Mozia Island, and the natural reserve of Mozia. In this room we have the mini bar, the smart TV like in the others, and we have a relaxing area with the sofa and table. And then there is the bathroom like in the other rooms. So yeah, you can visit your bathroom. So bye bye. I'm finishing to show you the rooms of the resort, and see you soon.
Okay. Anna?
Okay, I'm in the wine cellar again now. I want to show you if I have just 1 minute. I have 1 minute.
Yes, 1 minute one.
Okay. This is the ancient label of the wine Oneto dei Principi di San Lorenzo. Here is showed that the Oneto family was the production of the Oneto family was sell to the Vatican Palace, so to the Sacri Palazzi Apostolici, because of the Vinsanto. So our wines was in in a night in an excellence in the ancient time, and still nowadays we are just doing a little quantity of bottle, but high quality, really. And here is one of the bottles that I was telling you before. This is Odinetto. Odinetto was the first of the Oneto family, because he was a consul of Genoa, and in the 11th century. And in the time, the D go down, one of the T go down. So what we have now is Oneto. And this is a product that comes from Arabic, that is the safune. And my grandfather, the grandfather from my dad, he wrote poetry about this wine, and he wrote stille di sole, stille d'amore che bevono le fate. That I try to translate is like come si dice goccia?
Drop.
Drop, bravo. Drop of sun, drop of love that the fairy drink. Something like this. And now I think I can go to have some of this wine, waiting for these groups that are coming. It's something special, really. It is really sweet. This is like honey. And we always say that Marsala, that is a meditation wine, that is really dry, is a more masculine wine. But the Bibo, the Passito, is a sweet wine and is a love wine, is a woman wine. This is what we say. So I go to smell it for you, and I go to drink a little bit for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna. And you can find this wine in the United States. So
I think you can try it.
yeah, not easy, but I know that you can find it.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much to everybody, and again to Anna, to Moshe, to Giulio for their help to put together this presentation. I hope you enjoy and you discover something different on Sicily, something that you were not aware of, and then we hope that we have given to you some more thought to prepare itinerary, that we can help you to put together itinerary for your client to the destination. So thank you again to everybody, and now we're gonna draw the price for today, and the $300 coupon goes to, one second, Randa Nawawi, the travel adventure. Randa, compliment.
Hi.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Prize.
Grazie. Grazie.
And for the stay at the Baglio Oneto is Mia Park from Travel Edge. So Mia, congratulations. You're gonna stay on this fantastic property. And
wow, thank you.
Congratulations. I'm waiting for you.
thank you again to everybody, and stay tuned for the future webinar that we will be running during the month of July. We will advise as soon as possible with the new one that we are preparing So thank you again, and see you very, very soon. Thank you.
You, Anna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia.
Thank you.
Thank you, Giulio. This was a
you very
wonderful,
much.
wonderful journey through Sicily. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.